Hi, my name's Will L., and I'm recording this from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm going to tell you about my bottom and how I got sober this time. I say this time because I got sober at 20. However, I was introduced to Alcoholics Anonymous probably for my first time at about 17. So I started getting drunk and participating on the dark side of the coin, if you will, at about age 15. However, I didn't start experiencing consequences until about 18. And once that consequence, sort of train started happening, it was virtually for 2 years getting in trouble from drinking. How do I get out of it? And going to some sort of rehabilitation center, getting out of it, and then doing it again. By the age of 20, I'd been to 6 rehabilitation centers and jail twice as a direct consequence of unmanageability and just pure alcoholism at its finest. Where my bottom lives this time, I went to jail in Knoxville, Tennessee, and it was a felony charge this time. I was already on probation, and I violated that probation with the same charge, just a felony version of it. And, they don't really take fondly to that sort of thing. So I'm in jail. I don't have a bond. And really my life isn't going all that well, to say the very least. In fact, I didn't even make a telephone call for about a week because nobody I know would take the call. My father was an alcoholic, and my mother was fed up with my shenanigans. So basically, I'm in jail for a week, and I end up, calling my mother and telling her where I'm at and all these things, and that didn't go well, of course. And after marinating in my own juices for I guess about 2 weeks, I went over to the silly little jail payphone that never works properly, so it seems. And I called my halfway girlfriend at the time, and I said, I've got felonies. I'm not having fun anymore. And I'll never forget, I hang up the phone, and I go up to my cell on the second floor of the cell block in the corner, cell 207. And when all other avenues are exhausted, when I've tried everything else, I remember, oh yeah, God. It should be the other way around, but not for this alcoholic. I go up to my cell 207, and I hit my knees for the first time in probably my life. Yeah, that's my life. And I talked to God, and I didn't ask to get out of jail. I didn't ask for God to remove my felony. I asked God to give me another opportunity at Alcoholics Anonymous. And that's exactly what God gave me. See, I'd been introduced to Alcoholics Anonymous multiple times through my drinking, and I continued to drink after that. And if anyone has experienced a head full of AA and a body full of booze, it doesn't work well. They decided to let me out on my own recognizance about a month and a half later, a contingency that I go to an outpatient treatment center and go to a halfway house. God bless my mother. She aligned for me to go to a halfway house in Nashville, Tennessee, so off we went. I don't know why honesty struck me at this time. My mother asked me, she had said, Will, how's this time going to be any different than all the other times? I looked over at my mother, looked her square in the eye, and said, Mom, I don't know. I'll cook something up for you if you like, but honestly, I don't know. And the magic and the miracle of Alcoholics Anonymous and a loving higher power started to begin as soon as I arrived in Nashville. I arrived at a halfway house, and unbeknownst to me, my sponsor-to-be was waiting for me. He didn't know he was going to sponsor me, and I didn't know he was going to sponsor me. The manager of the halfway house happened to be running an errand, and my sponsor-to-be, named Jerry, was waiting for me there, just doing some volunteer work, just doing some service work, helping alcoholics in the trenches. I arrived there, my mother, drops me off and is out of there like yesterday, and it's just me and this man talking, and like it talks about in the book, one alcoholic can went over the confidence of another alcoholic in virtually no time flat, and I understand I'm paraphrasing. And that's exactly what he did. He didn't tell me how it was. He said, this is what it was like for me. I get it. And he won over my confidence. And then it shifted a little bit, and thank God for this. Without my permission, he started working the steps with me right there. He understood I needed a spiritual experience, and I needed it about 5 minutes ago because I can't stop. He started working step 1 with me right there, and I'm a really good forgetter, and I'm almost forgetting about how much trouble I'm in. Once I finish the first step with Jerry, I am utterly hopeless, and I'm scared. And I look up at Jerry, and I say, Jerry, you're right. I can't stop. I cannot stop. But since you know all the answers, at this time I'm a little bit upset. I'm scared. I'm upset. I'm in defensive mode. I said, Jerry, since you know all the answers here, okay, what do I do? Jerry smiled, and over the period of 2 years now, a little over 2 years, he goes, well, give me your hand. It's okay. Come this way. And he showed me what we do. I remember when at the beginning stages of sobriety, the only way I could stay sober, I called Jerry in the morning. Jerry, what do I do today? Well, I need you to get out of bed. I need you to pray. I need you to meditate. I need you to read a little bit of the literature. Take a shower, brush your teeth, eat a little bit of lunch, go to a noon meeting, then call me for further instructions. Right. And that's how I built days at the beginning, truly. I'm so grateful for Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm so grateful for my sponsor and a loving higher power. I've only got 7 minutes to describe my story here, so briefly, that's what it was like. That's what happened, and what it's like now is my life is grand. I got here with pending felonies, lots of debt. Family doesn't want to talk to me. Oh, and did I mention I can't stop drinking? Today, the obsession's been lifted from me as a direct result of a loving higher power and the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm a full-time college student who graduated high school with a 2. Today, I have a 4.0 in college, studying to be an accountant. I have sponsees, and I'm a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm a member of a family. And as I mentioned to you earlier, my father is an alcoholic, and I don't claim to have done this because only God can do this. But I remember after about a year sober, my father called me. And he said, Will, I'm 3 weeks sober in Alcoholics Anonymous. On January the 5th, 2015, my father celebrated 1 year sober in Alcoholics Anonymous. Thank you, Alcoholics Anonymous, for my life, my family's life. I am forever grateful. My name is Will L., Nashville, Tennessee, and I am an alcoholic.